So SAM is an app-enabled construction toy for 7 to 14-year-olds to build inventions and learn coding with an amazing gaming experience. What you do is you combine education research, Internet of Things technology, and gaming into one toy. We've just come out with a toy here, and it's already available to the public. It's won an award, a CES award, and it's based around 5 different vehicles. And vehicles are an amazing catalyst to teach concepts like pattern recognition, logical thinking, and algorithms. Here we go through race cars, space shuttles, and even bulldozers that we built with the same platform of electronic components, buttons, motors, and sliders, and this amazing interface. After we're done building them, we actually build a whole lot more using exactly the same components, from drawing machines to smartwatches to even bridges using exactly the same thing. And I'll show you how you get started. Basically, we've gamified the whole experience. I'm not going to show you the arcade games, the customizing, and even the more community-based project you can do with the same app. We'll go directly into a project that you can access directly off the bat. We're going to build a little police car. And to do that, what we need to do is get a button over here and get a slider. And the button is going to drive the car forward, it's going to change the color of a light, and it's going to play a sound. The slider is going to steer the car. So now I'm just going to go here, and by turning them on, I get them to connect directly on my interface. So now you can see that these blocks drop on the interface, and I'm going to get the 2 motors and the light as well to connect to the car. And you can see that they're all being recognized, and they're all turning on the interface. Here you go. Now to connect this control pad to the car, what we need to do is simply draw a line between them. So here we've got one line drawn, and it's allowing me to steer, and you can actually see them react on the interface. And to get the sound of the police car, I'm going to connect to the iPad. So now, well, if I go forward, you can see the car go, and actually if I let it play, you can hear the siren go as well. So I'll just put it on the ground, and now you can see the car move. It bumps again. It's quite sturdy, so you can basically you can drive it around, and as soon as you're done with that, you can start accessing the different levels, starting to create the space shuttle, the bulldozer, and you can go through the interface to play the games, to build the different custom cars. So there you can access the iPad capabilities of accelerometers.
So before we go into the iPad, I want to make sure I understand this correctly, because I grew up building plastic models, right? And with the plastic models, you'd buy it, it'd be in parts, and you'd have paper instructions. And if I understand correctly, yours is a little bit similar in that when I buy your box, it has some parts that need to be assembled, but it has interactive instructions. Is that right?
That's precisely it. So you've got the parts, they're not completely made yet. There's still that construction element that allows you to basically learn. If you've got something that's already pre-made, well, you can only consume it. But if you actually have to create it in parts, you get to understand what are the blocks that actually make up the result. And that's what we find really important, because if you understand that, you can deconstruct it and build something entirely different. And this is where the other part comes along, where you start building these other pieces that have nothing to do with cars essentially, but I use the same components in the same blocks.
So this is all physical construction. At what point do 7-year-olds start coding?
All right. Well, once they're done with the customizing, and here you can use the iPad to customize, they get to actually go into the creative space. And the creative space is a blank canvas where code is simplified into little blocks of graphics that you put between the elements. So here you can use things like, well, toggle functions here that you can drag and drop on the interface, and even logic gates, and you connect them together simply by creating a line. Then actually, if we go on my interface over here, we get to even add things like coding. Here you add different functions, logging functions, MIDI, delays, all the way to coding. So you can go through the whole experience of having played arcade games build simple cars, but actually coding at the end. And you can build crazy things like even a Lego ball sorting machine, as it all adapts to Lego and Mega Blocks. Here's a 12-year-old kid who used the same blocks as we did with the car, the motors and the light sensor, and built a ball sorting machine that's able to separate between balls that are blue and white using our interface. So it's super expandable.
So if I understand you correctly, the way that you walked me through this, it starts with the simplest. It's just how to connect two different things, but then for those kids that are able to understand the logic behind it and read the language, they can actually go read the coding, figure out how the coding has connected the two things, and then from there build upon it to do something like that. Is that right?
That's exactly it. And every step of the way is gamified and is of easy access. So you don't lose anyone along the way.
Right, so at what point have you maxed out the technology? Is it basically doing things like this, or can you go beyond that?
At that point, since you can mix MIDI, music, APIs, coding, I'd be very impressed if you max out the technology. We haven't yet seen a limit. What we actually have seen is that people respond better and better the more you gamify it at the beginning, because it then allows them to go deeper and deeper, quicker, but also more efficiently.
Well, Joachim, this is amazing. This is so cool. I love it. If our viewers want to learn more, where can they go to learn more?
So they can go to Barnes & Noble, they can go to samlabs.com, and it's a Samlabs Curious Cars kit that's actually on sale now.
Great. Well, thank you so much. This is great, and good luck with everything.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
This is Matt Peak with the Tech Ranch at CES 2017.